Barnaby Jones will return next Thursday night at 10, 9 Central and Mountain on most of these stations.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
Hi, I'm Alex Ross, and I'm doing my first CGC signing this year. It will be the exclusive way to get my signature, and submissions are limited, so please send in your books now.
Welcome back, everybody. Time again for another Oh Yeah Trek Watch. Wayne, I apologize. I grabbed the old intro instead of the new one with your face. We'll rectify that next time. Joining us as always, it's Wayne and Franco, and I'm Batman. It's
here to talk about Picard.
Yeah, mustachioed match, Batman. Yes, indeed, Mitch. And also, yes, we are talking about episode 10 and, the season in general of Star Trek Picard season 3.
Spoilers!
Yes, if you have not seen the episode, we really appreciate you tuning in, but obviously watch the episode because we're going to spoil the shit out of this thing. And rightfully so. Opening impressions, gentlemen?
Landing, stuck. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why? I love the reference to Return of the Jedi. It was fantastic.
Exactly. Why did we watch seasons 1 and 2 is all I want to know. I could use those hours back in my life.
That's the thing. If you take this season on its own, it is so much better. So when we have, the third time that we're, fucking with the Borg and everything, it's like, all right, whatever. But no, it was fun. Deweese says, yeah, it was just okay. He says, just kidding. It was awesome.
It was.
Okay, I was going to say,
what are you, nuts?
And Larry Young, Planet Lair here. The best thing I can say about it is it's over now. Yeah, Lair and Johnny Price are cracking me up with their frustrations with this season.
Really?
And that's fine.
Really?
Hey, man.
You should have been with us for Discovery seasons 1 through 5.
What were you watching?
That's all right. What are you going to do? I got my little nitpicks. I won't deny that.
Yeah.
But overall, compared to where we were,
yes,
it's like a million miles away. It's like, that sucked. This is good,
Yeah, the writing was really snappy and sharp, and the delivery was great. Frakes and Dorn are just amazing together.
Yeah, they were.
They're awesome.
I mean, if they gave more for Dorn to do with Worf, he would have been neck and neck with Frakes because every time he opened his mouth, it was hilarious.
Yeah. Do you hear yourself? That was the best line. Yeah. I cracked up on that one.
We will make a threesome.
I will be part of this threesome. Do you hear yourself?
Well, and even at the very end, when he's napping, that's fantastic. Long hard battle.
I was just waiting for him to rip one when he was sleeping.
Oh, when his sword, he gives Riker the sword, and Riker just drops it.
Yeah. This is heavy. Yes, it was. You had a phaser all along? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The sword's more fun, though.
Exactly. No, every line was a gem, but obviously Riker had a more, I think, three-dimensional thing going on as far as what they gave him to do. Also, man, I was so happy right off the bat after we get through the last time on Star Trek Picard, the Chekhov thing.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
And so great. What a great nod to the original series and to both Chekhovs as well.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Took me a minute to figure out, wait a minute, it can't be first Chekhov. He'd be 190 years old. Oh, Anton. His name was Pavel. Ooh, calm down. Right. Calm down. Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I guess the implication is it's Chekhov's son. Could be his grandson.
Well, it sounded like Koenig.
It was Koenig.
It was.
Koenig. No. It's in the credits. It absolutely is Koenig. Absolutely.
But it wasn't our Chekhov from the movie.
And again, a great way to get a cameo in, and I'm sure a reduced price. And that's the thing. I think Metalis, you got to give him credit for using the limitations of the budget and finding workarounds including the Borg Queen, which obviously is a different actress physically, but it was definitely Elise Krieg on The Voice.
Yeah, sorry I broke up. When you said cameo, I was just thinking about last night.
Yeah, but people maybe didn't watch that. But
I know. See,
it's
you
a
have
reference to the IF
podcast,
and yes, indeed. No, I get it, man. I'm just blowing your shit, Wayne. Word Balloon. They love everything on Word Balloon. Don't kid yourself. Yes, indeed. Planet Lair swords are fun, hilarious. Yep. And apparently, Enterprise is taking out the Death Star. Again, the overuse of the Borg, it's getting simpler and simpler to beat the Borg.
Wipe them out. Yeah, it's like pink. Kill the Borg.
I like the fact that they were all like, they turned into cannibals and stuff like that. I appreciate that. So there was nobody left on the ship because she had like cannibalized everybody.
Yeah,
literally.
Well, and also a different way to assimilate. And I like what she said too when she said it's not just about assimilation; it's evolution.
Right.
And when she said annihilation, I'm like, you still want to grab these people. I mean, to be honest, just in general. We obviously saw the difference, but they've always been about assimilation and evolution because, as they'd say, we will add your, personas to our collective.
Yeah, right. I'll tell you what, though, it did seem like a little. Like I've watched a lot of other shows, like Doctor Who with the Daleks always coming back, trying to take over, and somehow Palpatine returned. That's all I kept thinking. With the Emperor, the last Star Wars movie, how everybody makes fun of that. It's like, wait, the Emperor came back, and when I saw. The Borg Queen, just like the upper torso, it's like somehow the Borg Queen returned. It reminded me of that, like, we're not going to get into it. But the big, like you said, the big cube, and they went through it like Lando through the Death Star. And I'm like, wait a minute. When did they wait? Okay, let it go. Let it go. Just
I mean, again, it's fun, but I loved the little character things. I loved Data being excited about that,
Yeah.
I love that part. I love those little things.
It was a nice way to. I was gonna say it's a nice way to close out everybody at the end,
100%.
And it was like this. It was paint by numbers nostalgia. They're sitting around, they're playing poker, just like it was a good way to do it. And please don't come back. I'm not saying that I wouldn't. I love everybody on the show, but it's a nice way to wrap it up.
If they write like the third season, they could come back.
given their ages, it probably is. However, that said, I could think of about 6 or 7 storylines I wouldn't mind following after this for all the individuals. Oh yeah, man. Like I said, even prior to this episode, there's a ton of opportunity for either comics or novels.
Oh, okay.
Or if they want to spend the money to do movies. I mean, we know they're doing the Section 31 movie. I'd like to see. I'll even be honest, and we'll get to it, I guess. But I'd like to see a Captain Tuvok movie. And what I would do with him specifically is a courtroom murder mystery where he's part of like the JAG of Starfleet, and representing somebody, and also maybe doing his own detective work. But I mean, that was the vibe I got from that moment with Seven. When she thought the hammer was coming down, and it's like, actually, guess what? Shaw actually had good things to say about you. He looks like he's on too much NyQuil in that shot.
Well, he's dead.
They even got him in there. I was like, oh, he's dead, and he showed up again. I'm like, wow.
That was nice. Actually, I thought that was really nice.
And I agree with what the Wee says. That's what I was going to bring up. I love that everyone turned to Beverly after Jerry says, well, you're going to have to do this manually, and that's not a problem.
Yeah.
And
a lot's happened in the last 20 years.
Good for, and I would say right there with Riker, Gates, got a lot of great stuff to do, and now I understand why she was so excited about this. Lair also says, "See, I hate that paint by numbers nostalgia thing. It's just lazy. Give me some."
Compared to the shit for the first couple of years and 4 years of Discovery, I'll take this any day. I really will.
I thought it was toned down nostalgia. Like they didn't. They were with a new story. They forged ahead with it, but that other stuff was there because it makes us feel good.
Yeah,
and I liked it being there.
And it closes up to all good things with Picard finally joining them for the poker game.
Right, and he won.
Yes,
he actually won.
That's true. I want to go back though. I did like when the Titan went in to try and stop everybody. And but we got the pilot, and I like this guy.
Yeah,
he worked at a deli.
I'm just a cook. My brother-in-law had a hernia, and I love that. I was like,
it would have been nice if his name was Porkins.
Just sit down. Yeah, it would be the fat guy, right?
It was the crossover.
Fat guy.
It was the crossover between Star Trek and the Hulu show The Bear that nobody was aware of, apparently.
Yeah.
If you know that show.
If it was, if it was the kid from Lower Decks, it would have been perfect. Like he got reassigned. What's that, Bulmer? Like, wow.
Boimler? Oh, we'll see.
Boiler.
Well, we got Boimler and Mariner coming on Strange New World season 2.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with that last post about this probably being the end. Besides Nemesis, but I didn't like Nemesis.
I didn't like that.
I didn't like the way it ended. I didn't like. So this was much better.
As I heard others review the show say, and I agree, Nemesis wasn't a final adventure. Like they left it open. Like, all right, we're gonna have more, and obviously we didn't for 20 years. Right. Nope. So I get it. But this is a better ending than Nemesis. I mean, honestly, all good things. I still think, as much as I enjoyed this season, if you just watch All Good Things, you're fine. If you don't want to go further. But if you went that far, the likelihood is you do want to go further. So
you don't need the aftermath. You're good. Wrap it up. You don't want to see what happens after.
But again, I would love to see a medical show with Beverly Crusher. I would like I said the courtroom drama with Tuva.
Admiral Crusher, yeah.
Yes, indeed. No, I think all that stuff is interesting.
So it looked like Jean-Luc and Beverly hooked up again. What happened to poor Laris?
I know. That surprised me. That is the one character that I expected waiting at a space dock or something with a suitcase.
She's still at the vineyard. She's waiting.
Well,
no, they're supposed to meet. I forget what planet it was.
I was going to say maybe she's pregnant with his kid, but how could she? Well, he's polytronic now, or whatever the fuck it is. So
positronic.
He's
polytronic.
He's married
to her and Beverly.
Exactly. Well, no.
Another crew member in Star Trek Legacy
polytronic. The human version of Picard was married to, or was getting it on with her.
Right.
And he's two-timing her. So the positronic one.
He sent the body back to the vineyard.
He's like, you see what I'm drinking in honor of Star Trek?
Yeah. I don't know. What is that?
Your own poop?
Is it mud?
Yeah, it's my own poop.
Shut
up! Enough! No, do you know what? It's Tranya. It's my own version of
Tranya, yeah.
I hope you'll relish as much as I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Clint Howard. Ladies and gentlemen, come on out, Clint.
Still looks the same 65 years later.
Still, he does look the same. He's got less hair.
Exactly. Really.
I thought, what? When they were coming up on the ship, when they were taking Jack to his first day of school, which is what it seemed like. It's like, we're going to drop you off, be friends with the other kids, make new friends. And when they were coming up, because we renamed the ship, I thought they were going to name the ship the Picard. I'm like,
me too.
They're not going to call it the Enterprise, because I thought that was the name of the ship last week that Shelby had when they came out of space dock. I go, isn't that the new Enterprise, the real big one? But I guess I was wrong. That's not.
No, if you watch the closing credits of Picard, very quickly on the Elcarts, they said that the Enterprise F was being decommissioned, and that was the ship that was there for Frontier.
Oh, all right, okay.
So but whatever. Stanley says the finale was decent.
Yeah,
but Hart had weak writing. Didn't stop him before Jack was Didn't stop before Jack was a Borg. I don't know what that means, but all right.
Stop what?
I don't know.
Not
sure. But what was I going to say here regarding Enterprise G? I liked the shot of. Did I get Seven's Bridge? Yes, here it is.
Let they put the
lights. So what's happening? Are we getting a legacy show? What's going on?
Well, we suspected that there was going to be a Raffi 7 show. And now maybe, again, it would be very smart to hire them and Sydney and the two other bridge officers.
Yeah.
We've already been accustomed to the crew. Yeah.
Weird puppy head lady.
Jack's a consultant / counselor.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What kind of job is that? It's like,
what the fuck is that?
Why are you wearing a Starfleet uniform? It's like you're just a consultant.
And
I'm just hired on here. I'm working.
People are trying to get a job make a living, and work, and you guys are like just busting on this guy.
No,
they don't have money.
He worked for that. He worked for that position.
No, he didn't.
They
no,
don't
he
have
did.
money in the 24th
He became
century.
a Borgie. He was a Borgie.
That's another reason why too. Hey, you almost annihilated Earth when you're under control. Hey, here you are. You're an ensign. How you doing? And I know it's a year and a half, but it's like the only person that had to actually go through Starfleet. Well, the only two people that actually had to go through Starfleet Academy are Wesley and Elnor.
Yeah.
Otherwise, field commission. Yes,
everybody walks on there. Yeah.
Let me make you an officer.
Captain
Bullshit.
7.
It's a military academy. Canadian Yoko Chips, who's a fine educator, it's like, well, really, people like me in education, we don't want to do the traditional thing. I'm like, this isn't ABCs. You are learning military protocol representing a government. No, I'm like, Starfleet. That takes time.
No,
and that takes lessons. And again, I know it was a year and a half. Oh, they fast tracked you. Yeah, bullshit.
Dude, he was a Borg.
It's quite an honor.
3 years for Kirk.
It's quite an honor to be fast tracked.
Evelyn Wood speed reader course, babe.
You got to give Boothby kids to talk to at the academy. I'm sorry, I disagree.
Longton's dead. Man, that starbase took a lot of took a lot of hits, didn't it? I was like, well, they're gonna blow that thing up in no time, but all those ships were shooting at it for a while there.
Fire.
And then they said,
"Fire!
Let's just go blow up the cities on the Earth while we're here." I'm like, well, why didn't they think of that 20 minutes ago?
Well, no, they had to take down the starbase to get rid of the military defenses.
Man,
now that's another thing. How can you have just one starbase for the entire Earth?
It's a pretty big starbase.
No, but line of sight. Like if you're thinking of like satellites and that to get a shield going around, I don't know.
And also, further, okay, the Borg ship is hiding in this cloud over Jupiter.
Yeah.
They always talked on previous Star Trek about Jupiter Station.
Yep.
Geordi, it was either Geordi or Geordi talking about Riker in the Jellicoe episode. Oh, he made the Jupiter pass or whatever. And Dr. Zimmerman is on Jupiter Station, the guy who created the holographic doctor. So I don't believe that the Borg can just park a cube at Saturn without Jupiter Station knowing what the fuck's going on.
They were parked in the big red spot.
Yeah, they were in the storm. Nobody could see them.
Nobody can see that.
Hi,
big.
Sensors. Hi, how you doing, Sensors? How's it going?
You know why they did that?
There's a hurricane here. You don't fly in the middle of it to see what's going on in the middle of a hurricane.
Bullshit.
That's right. You know why? It was in the screenplay.
What?
That's why. It was in the screenplay. That's why it was there.
Okay, thank you.
It was in the story.
Yeah, great answer. Thank you very much.
It's not real,
So, and I like Jack as Borg.
Jack is Borg.
Oh, Jack is Borg.
Jack as Borg, but thank you.
Jackie Borg. It might be
like
Swedish.
This shot here of the combination of Locutus and Jack. And I like their talk in the Borg hive mind.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I wish they had a character named Bjorn who became a Borg. So
that joke is unfortunately about 30 years old. So
and it still works.
But if they had a baby, Bjorn Borg.
Baby Bjorn.
Alfred Woodard made that joke at First Contact.
Really?
The Borg sounds Swedish. Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
For anybody who remembers Bjorn Borg out there, hi, how are you?
I liked when Picard jacked himself in.
He did. Yeah. He's getting it on.
Come on. And that great montage of those classic moments from First Contact and other things. I am Locutus of Borg.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That was great.
Now, do they not want to pay the money to get Whoopi Goldberg to do a cameo at the end?
Clearly not.
I was thinking, Guinan's going to be mad that we took all her booze. I'm like, where is she? Is she under
Guinan's
the table?
giving us the stink eye because we're still playing right now. I'm not in this one. Yeah, okay, we don't care.
Yeah. We don't have any more money left. Get out of here. Get out of here.
So Carrie Fisher died, and they put her in a whole movie.
Yeah.
Like Whoopi Goldberg, who was in all of last season, you couldn't have taken like one or two snippets and superimposed it there, like, have her waving in the background.
Plus, she didn't die.
Somebody should hold up a photo with a stick. Yeah. Hey, keep it down over there. Yeah,
or just do a shot from behind with the big hat, like she's walking out of the frame when they walked in. It's like, hey, wasn't that?
It's like Brando's hand in Superman 2.
Yeah. Or get the guy that played weird Marty McFly's dad, who actually calls me, by the way. So I do have a number. He could have put on the hat. And, well,
come on, I'm almost. What's his name? The original guy.
Crispin Glover.
Oh, Crispin Glover.
Yeah, I'm almost Crispin Glover. People know who I am. I was upside down in Back
I
to
just
the
read an
Future
article
2.
about the guy who replaced him on the movie and how Leah Thompson didn't even know his name.
That's the guy.
And
I know his name.
Introduced him to like someone else as this is the guy that played Crispin's part or something like that.
Let's call him right now. He's probably sitting by the phone waiting. Oh, Ron Garney just texted me. Hey. Anyway, what else happened that was like, oh, okay. I got to tell you, the little scene where Picard and his son, came together. It's like, oh, you won't be alone. I don't know which bonding. They only met each other, it seemed like 2 weeks ago. So
Jack, I am your father. Yeah.
It kind of fell flat. I mean, I knew it was going to happen, but I wasn't really locked into it. I'm like, yeah, okay. Whatever.
But I did like that Jack was excited.
Jack was.
Yes, that Jack was excited to be with the Borg. And I've never felt more part of something than ever.
Oh, see, that would have been a good story if he actually liked being with the Borg and didn't want to go back because he was now with a group because he was always a loner.
Did you watch the episode?
No, but I'm saying, why couldn't they have just done it like this? Instead of the Borg Queen being the bad guy and always want to assimilate me, why couldn't he have become the new Borg King and lived happily ever after and had a whole new way of outlook? Why do you have to be the bad guy?
Well, I don't need him being but I don't need it being happily ever after. But it would have been interesting to put it in the middle of the movie,
right?
Or the series, and have to deal with that and have that revelation from Jack earlier. I'm with you, Mitch.
No, because think about that. No. They've already worked with the Klingons. They got a good relationship with them. They used to be the bad guy. Wouldn't this been a nice story idea if suddenly the Borg, they got to work with the Borg because they can't get away from them? Because last I checked, there's not just one Borg cube. There's tons of these things still out there, right? That's what I was led to believe, that they were from some other part of the quadrant.
You weren't listening to the Borg Queen during that episode, sir.
Yeah, but what about all those other places they assimilated over the years? They're all gone too?
Because
the virus.
Yes.
The virus got him?
Well, honestly, this is how I took it. And I would love to hear people in the chat agree, disagree, other theories amongst yourselves as well. I took it that when they infected Hugh, and also even Picard as Locutus might have infected the Borg in a negative way. And again, they said, well, we haven't seen him in 11 years. They're all dying off. She gave a big, long speech about how that's why she's feeding on the drones that were in there. And no, that this was her revenge, that you polluted our continuum, and now I'm doing the same to your continuum.
Wasn't there a civil war amongst the Borg too?
Yeah, there was that episode where
wasn't that in Voyager? A civil war?
No,
there were always those little pockets of Borg and ex-Borg and little things like that. But I don't remember a full-fledged civil war. The Wii says they needed Jack to be in the new show. Not sure if 7 or 9 and Raffi can carry. Yeah, okay, that's great. I thought you were giving an explanation of.
No, you know what else threw it for a loop? That whole freaking Allison Pill. What was her name again last season?
Yeah,
I know they dismissed it, said it didn't count, but we watched it. And we remember it from only last year, so it still kind of fucks with our head when you're like, oh, I'm supposed to forget that Agnes became the new Borg Queen and all the other stuff. You're going to keep Raffi, but you're going to throw out this shit. So it's like, you know what? You can't pick and choose which story elements you just put down everybody's throat, but they did.
Well, Mike, yeah, but again, Metalis is, Mitch, I rewatched that first episode of Picard season 2 under duress, but I wanted to understand that as well. Because Metalis said that those Borg, including what the Borg Queen was before Agnes merged with her, they were coming from that alternate dimension. And I suppose you could take it that way, given the way that they appeared through a transwarp conduit, but it could have also just been a portal from that alternate universe. Because it didn't make sense to me. And I'm like, all right, I guess you can make that allowance. And again, that's how Metalis has addressed it. And I suppose, again, if you rewatch that first episode of season 2, it's like, okay, all right.
And there's a couple other plot holes. Remember those, like, whatever those circle things they were flying through? Remember the Enterprise kept popping in and out on a couple episodes ago when they did the same thing. They used that portal when they dropped Starfleet on the whole thing, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is going to come into play, and we're going to do some more with the changeling people. And we figured out a transporter thing that captures the changelings when they're beaming on board and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I thought they had infiltrated like lots of stuff, like through governments and all that on the Earth, but I guess it was only a handful of Starfleet people that changed.
Given the voiceover that Riker was doing when they said it was 1 year later, and they showed the one guy coming off the transporter who clearly was a changeling. That I think again, Beverly being at Starfleet Medical, using the information that she discovered when she was dissecting whatever changeling she got to operate on. I think that explained it. And by the way, this is why this season is another reason why this season is better than the previous two. I love Michael Chabon as an author, but he's so fucking wrong with so many of his Star Trek instincts. And one of them being, well, the captain's log, that was so unnecessary. No, that's a chance to fill in exposition and story of, we don't have time to show you this, but let's just explain what's been happening in the last year. It's what was missing in season 1 of Picard, when you had that Romulan fleet and all of a sudden they're just allowed to go away. Can't you say something like, captain's log, negotiations continue between the Federation and this android world, and these were the consequences of the Romulan Star. What's left of the Romulan Star Empire is investigating what Commodore O did, or something. But that's what was missing in season 1. I think we got it. And by the way, Mitch, I believe I was correct when I said last week that this was going to be a slightly longer episode.
1 hour and 5 minutes. I called it at 57, so you were up by 8 minutes, Johnny.
Well,
I watched it. I froze it to see how long it was.
If you go back and check the tape, I believe I said 1 hour and 5 minutes.
Everybody feel free to check last week. But honestly, I was going to say, that's why when you said, there's a lot they got to cover, I'm like, I just know it's going to be a longer episode. I know it is.
Yeah. They have that kind of Lord of the Rings multiple endings here. I'm like, wait. Wait. And then, of course, I called one thing. I said, watch Q come back. And you're like, nah, he's dead. He came back.
He sure did.
Yeah.
And that's
but
great
you also
opening.
said Wesley, and that didn't happen.
Well, I thought he might show up too.
But yeah,
I understand.
I did like that he showed up, and I think it really leaves it open for a new series. I would watch this new series. Yeah.
Because
I would watch anything Star Trek.
The hook.
What's that?
Humanity is still on the hook.
Yes.
That's right. The trial
continuum.
The trial never ends, as Q said a couple times. No, I thought that was a fun scene. Metalis, without giving away detail, telegraphed there is an end credit scene, and it's just another, much like Kirk's body at Section 31. If somebody wants to play with this, here it is. And that's great. That's fine.
How long do you think we'll have to wait before you get an official word from Paramount if they're going to go ahead with another season?
Honestly, Mitch, I don't know.
I would think they would do it immediately. Why do Section 31 announcement?
I would say, I think because they had that planned and they got contracts and stuff like that. I think you'll hear about this possibly sooner rather than later because of the ratings. The Nielsen ratings were, they said this is probably, it's been really big. So, because again, why is this season so big? It wasn't the buildup of the first 2 seasons.
No,
it's word of mouth that this thing is much better than the first 2 seasons, and why everybody's watching it. Because I know a lot of people that came in to watch this because they heard such good things about it.
Wasn't it weird that last week, and I know we acknowledged it last week, but literally the day after episode 9, and you'd think they would have left more publicity for the IMAX presentation of 9 and 10 that happened this week prior to today's episode. But immediately after episode 9, the next day, boom, Section 31 movie. So I like this is a German.
I was going to say, it's even in another language. That's how quick it
Ein exclusive film event. Z.
You speak Section 31.
I agree with Louise. Yes, John Delancey, always good.
Yeah.
But also, he is dead. But as he said, what is it with you humans thinking so literally and never linearly?
Literally. Yeah. Maybe it was Q's son. Everybody's got a kid now.
No, it's not his son. I hated that kid in Voyager.
Remember that? Yeah.
Ed Cathy. Shut up, twerp. Go back and play your video games, you dumbass.
Somebody's got to fly the Enterprise inside and take out the reactor core. I thought for sure Billy D. Williams was going to show up like, move out of the way, Data. I got this one.
Mike he goes, I am not sure about the Enterprise G just after the F was introduced. The F was part of Star Trek Online. So if you're a gamer, you've been well aware of the F. And again, it wasn't introduced. It was, I guess, on live action, but it was being decommissioned.
It's a year later too.
Yeah,
you gotta remember.
Yeah, would it have been nice if they had a different ship and not rechristen the Titan?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
They should have just called it an upgrade.
That's the one they're used to.
No, they should have just upgraded, called the Enterprise FU. Wow. I want to watch that.
As much as I appreciated
That's
everybody coming back in the D and everything. Yeah, I'm kind of with you, man. I let's more new ships, please.
Yeah.
But that's me.
With better lighting. Look how bright that Enterprise D was. You can actually see everything.
I know. Well, like I said, go there. And once again, Space Museum. So, like, are Geordi and his daughter like in a
the only people there?
No, yeah, but whatchamacall on beaches, lighthouse. Are they like? Is this
lighthouse keepers?
Lighthouse keepers.
I mean, how dorky is this? I'm watching as they show the Enterprise D in that space dock at the museum. I go, actually, that cannot fit through those doors that are there because the space dock doors look too small. I go, wow, I'm amazed that I got two boys. I've had sex twice, but
or at least once.
Yeah.
That's impressive, man.
It's the mustache. And they can do a new movie called Night in the Fleet Museum. I'd watch that.
There you go.
Hijinks there are plenty when Geordi and the crew meet Scooby-Doo. Zoinks.
No, I hear you.
And Data, man, what's he gonna do now that he's half human and he's going to psychotherapy? And
that was
what
hilarious.
else is he gonna do?
I like
what else?
Looking up vacations during his
exactly.
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Riker's waiting outside. Are you gonna? I'm okay.
I agree with Mike here. The Riker Wuff combo, as Salt and Sea Dog Action Bros confirmed. I always wanted more of their pairing on TNG. Honestly, again, and as I've said before, I'm very anti-ageism. And it was really nice seeing senior men getting it done, and senior women for that matter as well.
Like you didn't say getting it on.
That's the threesome.
Exactly, that's the threesome.
Well, they had to because all the youngins were all assimilated.
Borged, yeah, they were all Borgified.
But and I also loved that early joke in episode 1, like I said, where Picard's like, "Man, my hand's shaking." He's like, "Great, your hand's shaking, my knees hurt." He goes, "We're gonna be fine." Because they're getting ready to shoot whoever comes at him and everything. Good stuff, man. No, again, on balance, like I said, my big nitpicks were Jack getting accelerated through cadet school. It's like, okay.
Oh, but it does make sense since his parents seem to be very important people.
No, it does. No, I'm sorry, Wayne. It doesn't make sense. And everyone makes an excuse for it. No, I'm sorry.
I'm not making an excuse. I'm just giving you a reason why.
Well, they say it. They do say that. But again, it's like, I'm sorry. I think it's military training.
Maybe the rules that they break were meant to be were always broken. What did Shaw say?
Maybe forgive me, but maybe is a weak argument.
No, that's what Shaw said. Talking about 7, that she broke the rules that.
But again, that's fine. Again, Kirk was the youngest man to ascend to the captaincy back in the TOS years. He still went through the academy. Wesley, as brilliant and all the field experience he had on the D, he still had to go to the academy. Again,
but that was like 30 years ago.
It's protocol. It's combat training. It's
math. Kobayashi Maru.
Being in education, things change over the years, you know.
Sorry, man. No.
How did he handle the Kobayashi Maru?
You guys can explain it all the way. Well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. It is something that should be addressed in the dialogue. I know,
but they did. They said it was his parents that got him through.
Yeah, he said nepotism.
They tossed some latinum to the headmaster.
They paid off.
Exactly.
For
Slip
some
service.
reason, that girl from Full House was there, and she got him in. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah,
Lori
they got him on the
Loughlin.
polo
Lori
tee.
Loughlin on Jackie or whatever her name was.
Tevye says this is a weird finale.
Weird.
I liked it.
And yeah, I saw last week's Ready Room. I don't think they've released the new one yet. It did. Yeah, it came back last week. Yes, and Will Wheaton revisited Big D. Had a great interview not only with Frakes but Elizabeth, whatever her name is, Shelby.
Elizabeth Shue. Oh,
Commander
Shelby was on.
Dennehy.
Yes,
Dennehy, Brian Dennehy's daughter. We established that last week.
That's right.
Who lives in
Jonathan
Connecticut.
Frakes. I know. And you know who else is going to be in Connecticut? Jonathan Frakes at Terrificon on July 28th to the 30th. Tickets are on sale right now. Come on down to the Mohegan Sun. John will be there, Wayne will be there, and Franco will be there.
Indeed.
And
Very
I might
exciting.
be there. And the mustache.
Are you going to keep it all this summer? Are you?
No, are you kidding me? My anniversary's coming up. I got to shave it off if I want to get
I was
it.
going to say, man, again, if I were your wife, one word, shave.
What are we talking here?
Yeah. You ain't having another kid, that's for sure.
Hello? Hello? Give me up.
Exactly.
I'm Sam Halleck. I'm Mitch's twin brother. Can't you
hilarious. Yes, you are like Sam Kirk.
You're from
I
the
like
mirror
it.
universe.
I got that fried egg thing on my back.
See, you need to be unconscious and upside down, like exactly in the TOS appearance.
I'm telling you, why they didn't get the same actor playing Kirk to play Sam Kirk and just say, I was like, yeah, they were like twins, man. You know.
Here Tevye says, at least Picard and the OG crew did get a happy ending, and I'm happy. But the way they took down the Borg Queen for First Contact raises a lot of questions. Like, how did
dude? They blew up the Borg Queen at the end of Voyager. That's what my buddy said. He said, "Wait, the Borg Queen got killed when remember they came through the portal and the sphere exploded, and then the Voyager came through." He goes, "That's what wiped out the Borg." I go, "Nobody remembers that. That was 20 years ago, except John."
But also, I think the Borg are like a virus. So maybe that body of the Borg Queen was destroyed in First Contact.
Maybe it's a weak argument.
Sorry. That's fair. That's fair.
Hysterical.
That's more than fair. But again, the fact that the Borg Queen did show up, all right, timeline. Yeah. Voyager was after First Contact.
Since they're using the concept, the whole Borg concept is similar to bees, and that you can always have another queen.
You can.
That's true too.
Freddie Mercury.
How's that? That saves everything. The Borg are basically new bees.
That's true. Mike says the pack of cards is a great touch. Sure.
It was. But when he held up the Ace of Spades, the death card, I'm like, what?
By the way, that's another thing. They destroy the Borg cube for like the last 15 minutes. I'm like, all right, somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to die.
I thought so too. I said, you know what? I know we like happy endings, but I thought it was going to be Worf. I really did. I was like, when they were doing that big battle at the end, it's like, Worf's going to get killed.
Makes great television because you were anticipating something because everybody's saying goodbye. You're like, oh man, are they really going to kill somebody? Yeah. And loved it.
I thought Shaw might even come back at one point. I'm like, watch, like I was just wounded. It was just a flesh wound. I'm okay. 7 of 9. Really thought he was going to be back, but nope, he stayed dead.
Pete says this week was the realization that this is the last time we'll see this cast.
Wow.
Or was it? Well, again, I point to what Patrick Stewart said at New York Comic Con, and that is, well, I would love to do it again. And I didn't know if he was lying because he knew he was going to die and he just wanted to keep the mystery out there and everything. But obviously, given the way things ended, and again, I'm sure that Paramount's going to look very closely at the results of this. I could see another story.
I would be happy to eat my words, but I think this is the last time we're going to see that whole cast.
Most likely,
I do too.
Most likely, they're getting up.
And
there.
Again, how much money you got?
Well, yeah. And wouldn't it make sense based on the success of this compared to the Kelvin universe and the Chris Pine JJ cast?
Yeah,
maybe that's where you put your movie money in rather than fucking around with the Pine cast.
Yeah,
I don't know. After seeing Dungeons and Dragons, I wanted to see a Star Trek film with
was
Pine
that good?
in it.
Are you serious?
I loved it. It was funny.
Really?
It was really
I heard
funny.
good things. I want to watch it. Yeah.
No, after watching it, I wanted to see a Star Trek movie with Pine and the rest of the guys.
No, I hear you, man. Oh, Mike thought Riker was going to die.
Really? No.
Tevye thought Picard was going to sacrifice himself again.
I did think so. Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to necessarily, although he obviously was giving those goodbyes and we're going off to our death. I kind of assumed it would almost be a random, with the fact that the positronic body is supposed to age just like a human body. And that I was even expecting maybe at the poker game.
Oh,
no,
that's how you're going to kill Picard at the poker game.
That's why when he pulled out the ace of spades, the Italian in me went, "Uh-oh, the death card. Something's happening. He's gonna die. Oh, by the way, make it so that he just falls flat on the table. Dead man.
I'm telling you, man, this is the greatest day of my
life. Yes,
I'm so happy we are all together.
Make it
exactly.
Oh, and what was 7 of 9's launch word? Yeah, they did it just like Avengers Assemble at the end. It was like Avengers, and we just cut.
Well, we're going to save it for the
guess
TV
as
show.
to what it's going to be?
I think it's let's get it on. Let's get it on.
I'm going to say go rocket ship go. I think that's what she said.
I'm going to say strap yourself in because I'm about to rip one.
Assimilate this.
Exactly.
That's it.
You want a 7 of 9 this? Yeah.
I'm glad we don't know. I'm sure that we'll come up with something. I'm sure it's going to be a lot better than Let's Fly.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I hate that so much.
What was Riker's? Wasn't it like a jazz thing or something?
Yeah, and a 1, and a 2.
And a 1, and a 2, yeah. It's like Mitch Miller in space.
Jazz guy. I respect that.
Jazz guy.
Absolutely. Hilarious.
Get it on!
Mike says D&D is very good and we're very much in the Guardians of the Galaxy mode. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah. And somebody else said good things. Oh, yeah, there you go. Tevye heard that D&D is good.
When's it coming on streaming? I need to watch it.
It's probably like tomorrow. The way things work.
What studio made it? Do we know?
Hasbro.
Hasbro?
Yeah, it's a Hasbro product because of D&D.
Then it might be Universal. Because the other, I believe the other Hasbro movies
Transformers is Universal.
Yeah. Oh, Paramount.
With
the Transformers.
Of course.
Geez.
Robots in disguise. All right, Tevye. Again, they did cover this. What happened to all the other changelings?
I said, yeah.
They tracked them down. The TV show said it. That again, Beverly devised something, and they're using the transporter, and they've been discovered.
Yeah. Did Troy always have that force ability?
Yes.
Yes.
She did.
The force ability of what? Oh, the Imzadi, yeah.
Yeah, I can sense him. I know where he is.
Yeah.
Well, because he called out to her and he said Imzadi.
This is exactly like
I know it was Leia and Luke. Leia.
But again, but again, they established it on the show.
Yeah,
it's Paramount.
And also that's not his sister. So
there you go.
Bruce Green.
Know at the time.
Bruce Greenwood's Pike said punch it, which I respect.
Yeah.
But I believe hit it is Pike's what's his Anson Mount's Pike. So here we go. Tevye wants to know, compared to Picard and Star Wars Mandalorian season 3, which show do you think had the better finale?
Well, they had flying Mandalorians in the other show.
And it had that Pepperidge Farm remembers ending.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Frogs.
Mandalorians, remember.
Yeah. They were sitting there at the end.
I thought yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
I felt like it ended a little too soon, but yeah.
It was only less than 45 minutes, I think. It was a short episode.
I mean, getting to it in the season because they did there was that episode with where they were establishing. They took a whole episode to establish that guy. Remember that scientist guy and how the lady kind of
with the glasses.
Yeah, screwed him over. They took a whole episode.
I know.
I thought was going to go somewhere else, but
I think they were just laying the ground for another series because they'll go back to him to find out, and he has to do something with the cloning aspect.
Yeah, but
it'll hook in with the whole Snoke stuff.
They lobotomized that guy.
Moff Gideon.
No, I think the next time you see that guy, he's going to be wearing one of those things like Lobot because I think they wiped his brain out when they turned that dial up. So, but I liked what's his name at the finale in Mandalorian? What's the actor's name from Breaking Bad?
Carl
Moff Gideon.
Yeah,
with the sword when they had the big like fight. It was really like
now,
a nice.
did you hear the sounds? It
thing.
sounded like he was more mechanical than human because you heard grinding sounds.
I heard that was his clone too, because they said Giancarlo has a mustache and the guy that she fought did not have a mustache, so thereby he's the clone. So next time you see me without a mustache, you'll know that's
You're the clone.
Moth was a clone. Yeah.
Well, whoever thought we'd be living in a world where we'd be talking about new Star Wars one day and new Star Trek the next day, right?
That's right.
Glass is always half filled, even with shitty Star Trek. I completely agree. Wait a minute. Now, I know Tevye had another question, and that was how did Q survive given that he died last season?
Again, it goes to the whole linear aspect because humans think in linear fashion versus Q isn't
when you're
godlike being that can exist at any particular point in time.
But that exists everywhere. If you're flying a starship, it could go up and down.
Or down. There's no
but that was in Wrath of Khan where Spock says he only
two-dimensional.
Yeah. Two-dimensional. Oh, Zenith, bring us down, bring us down.
No, don't you remember like Cisco when he said I'm there's no beginning or end or anything like that? He was like, I'm whatever. There's no future or past.
I have a comic book comparison, and that is Reverse Flash. Reverse Flash was killed, but again can slip in and out of the timeline.
Yeah.
And there are earlier versions of him that are running around and someone else made the Doctor Who comparison with Q. And it's, you can, whatever.
Yeah.
And yes, Tevye, exactly. Q is a constant in the universe. Terry Metalis, the Popverse videos are among my favorite YouTube Trek review shows. And for every episode, the Popverse guys had like 2 minutes or 3 minutes at the end of Metalis explaining things. And he talks about the Q cameo at the end. And he's like, Q is omnipotent. He's immortal. And he goes, I disagreed with, essentially, the subtext was that he disagreed. He goes, I'm sure that version of Q died last year. But again, it's just putting the qualifier of a version on there, I think, not version. I think that's why.
Speaking of versions, did you see the picture today of the Klingons from season 2 of Strange New Worlds? They had the ridges on it, and I was like, just like, there you go. Mm-hmm. That could be Worf's uncle there because he's got the same ridge.
And I agree, and I'm glad that New Trek realizes making the Klingons white and purple and anything but what a lot of fans say now is blackface. Bullshit, I say. But regardless, there is a wrinkle of this, and that, I'm saying it. John's saying it. I won't deny it. But as much as I'm happy to see the Berman era look of the Klingons back, there are some nitpicking nerds that are like, yes, but during the original series, the Klingons had no ridges, therefore. And while they kind of explained it in Trials and Tribulations on Deep Space Nine, I'm okay with the idea. And in fact, in Enterprise, we see it. It wasn't every Klingon. It was a group of Klingons that were made smooth face. And
they smoothed themselves, right? Yeah.
There's the old Star Trek game in the 70s, like D&D, had an explanation for it, is to better interact with humanity, with different cultures. They genetically modified a bunch of Klingons, and the ones that we saw in the Tribbles episode were the genetically modified Klingons. That the ones that we saw in the movie are supposed to be, those are the Klingons, but the ones that we saw in Tribbles were the genetically modified so that they could interact with other species so that they did not look as threatening.
Right.
And that was in a D&D game.
And as Worf said on Deep Space Nine, those are Klingons, and we don't talk about it. That was it.
Without let it go. Yep, exactly. All right, Tevye, this is very basic. So basically, Q could never die and stay alive. Wait a second. Why is Q wanting to bother Picard's son, Jack? Because I'm so confused. Why are you confused? He likes Picard and obviously sees a lot of Picard in Picard's son. And as he said, the trial never ends for humanity. So, yes, Picard is at the end of his life, and it's a nice acknowledgement of what happened last season. But more importantly, it's like, Q's immortal. And he's going to probably fuck with the Picards.
Didn't he say? Well, like I thought that the something was over, and he goes, well, for Picard it was.
For you, for your father it was.
For
not
you, it's
for
just
you.
beginning. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think that explains everything, man.
It's like a cat with a ball of yarn. That's cute. I have this nice new shiny yarn that I can play with.
Mike says in 10 years, the inside baseball about what happened during season 2 and 3 filming and creative decisions will be a 25-part series.
The back room.
Maybe. I don't know.
Waiting for that book to come out.
No shit, exactly. I think Altman and Roger Reyes are going to have to do a volume 3. Although I don't know if Altman would want to do that because he really dislikes most of New Trek. Picard being in
Mark Altman doesn't like the new stuff. No. Oh, I like it.
And I give him credit because he's like, listen, we want to be positive.
Yeah,
we got our problems with Discovery, etc. And he's like, but he goes, that's fine, whatever.
I really like this season of Picard, and I give Metalis a lot of credit for taking that ship and steering it in this direction from the last two seasons,
steering it away from the abyss.
Yeah,
absolutely. In fact, I was listening to Altman's podcast, Inglorious Treksperts, today, and he's like, people are complaining about, the 10 forward in this season was the LA 10 forward. Why wasn't it the Enterprise 10 forward? And he's like, look, they had a set from last year, and they wanted to amortize, pay for it by having it in more than just last year's episodes. And it's a good creative decision where you are faced with a financial deficiency that you can't do everything that you would like to do. It's every show that I've been aware of where I know the details behind the scenes. Ironically, a lot of production companies or networks will give them smaller budgets as the seasons progress. And it's like, you got to do the same thing with less. I was just rewatching my buddy Brian Volk-Weiss's amazing documentary series, The Center Seat, that was on the History Channel. It's on Amazon Prime if you haven't seen it, everybody. And it's a fantastic look at the Berman era of Star Trek. It ends with Enterprise. It's fantastic. And they were talking about when they let Jennifer Lean Kess go from Voyager, that UPN's like, well, fine, you'll do it with one less cast member. And they're like, no. And also, they just wanted to write her off. And they're like, no, she deserves a goodbye. But further, hey, we're in a slump. We'll get a new cast member. And that's when they hired Jerry Ryan on.
Now, as a good reason why they used Guinan's bar is, you got to remember the last, 30 years, Picard was sort of in the vineyard or something.
Yeah.
And the place that he went to a lot at the end of those years is Guinan's bar, the 10 forward. So it makes sense that when he wanted to go to a nice place that he felt comfortable in, while it's cost saving, you could sort of see why they
absolutely
went with that.
Yeah,
they solved it within story. They showed it at the first episode.
Yeah,
he's chilling in the LA 10 forward. What were you going to say, Francis?
I was going to say from a writer creative standpoint, sometimes when those constraints are put on you, you really have to get creative and use your wits about you and really kind of find the story. It doesn't always work out. I've been in those situations. Yeah, I've been in those situations where, wow, what I really wrote was kind of shit, but Metalis and crew really, I think, really pulled it off with this and did a good job.
I absolutely.
Hey, John, that Trek documentary, that was the one that was on History Channel. Did they put all the other episodes that they made? Because remember, there was a thing like they didn't show them all.
It's funny, Mitch. I reran my talk with Brian, the producer of it, Brian Volk-Weiss. And I remember him telling me they're on the air or off the air that I think the History Channel only showed at most 9 episodes.
Yeah.
On Amazon Prime, there's 11.
Okay.
And further, the DVD of the series comes out April 25th, next week. And in addition to all the episodes, Canadian Yoko Chips was telling me that there's like 3.5 hours of bonus content that they're promising. But it's a great series, and it
was really good.
And they even get into some warts and all problems, not everything, but I was very impressed with, like, even she wouldn't say it, but like Dana Mulder, Dr. Pulaski, and it's like, I really only thought I was going to be on one season. Can we ask you why? No.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, something happened, obviously.
What's the name of the?
It's The Center Seat.
Yeah, we don't get that up here.
You can buy the DVD.
Yeah, Wayne, and it's honestly, Wayne, I would say it's worth buying.
It is, because I remember
Oh
watching
yeah,
it.
I watched it.
Yeah.
I think it might not be on Amazon. I'm going to check to see if it's with CTV Sci-Fi.
Oh,
Okay, I thought it was great. Tevya, do you even have to ask? How do we feel about Picard season 1 and 2 compared to this season?
it's a waste of time. They were waste.
Sucked.
Yeah,
It was a waste of time.
yeah.
And poor Patrick Stewart only got older.
And I know people that went out of their way to buy Paramount Plus because they were big Trek fans. And I had already saw season 1, and I go, don't do it. They're like, what?
Oh.
I say save some money, rent it for a week with that trial thing, and watch it and cancel it. Don't spend your money. They go, it's that bad? I go, yeah, it is that bad. It's
if you want to know how we felt about it, go watch the last 20 plus episodes that we did of this show. That you can find out.
It's absolutely true, man. I mean, again, and all right, here's a better question. Which is worse? Which is better?
Which is better, less worse?
Asked it that way.
Which is it is better? Season 1 was better than season 2.
I agree with you, Mitch.
Yes.
I absolutely agree with you.
Yes.
As bad as both of them were. Because
3-1-2.
Well,
yeah.
Season 2, I think they had a lot because that's just when COVID hit, if I recall.
Sure.
And they had to do the LA sets. That's why I think they went to the time travel because they couldn't do a lot, and they had all the actors were in like 2 people's scenes because they had to do the COVID protocol. So that
Mitch,
hurt.
You approach that with better writing, and I think you could have told much more personal, introspective Picard stories rather than having them tooling around in a 4x4,
and a
freeing
cop car,
immigrants, having bar fights, all that, all the bullshit that they put into it. And really, again, when Patrick Stewart was talking about this, I was expecting a much more personal, introspective look at Picard as an old man. There's a great novel, and forgive me, I don't remember the name of it, but Burnett always raves about it. And it's completely not about Star Trek. It's about a fictitious guy who landed on the moon, but that was 40 years ago, and now he's what's been happening with him since the greatest achievement of his life was being one of the lunar astronauts.
He became a U.S. representative, and his name is George Santos.
Oh,
nice. Thank you.
Wow.
But no, that's the kind of thing of, okay, my great days are behind me. What is my life now?
He does a podcast now.
What's that?
He does a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to the Jean-Luc cast.
Talks about bad TV shows. Hey, if season 1 and 2 were like season 3, if in another world, another parallel dimension, boy, wouldn't that have been something if you had 3 years? And the thing of it is, people are like, well, we don't want to make it just like Next Generation because everyone has that mindset. You come in, it's like the new boss that comes into a company. I've got to redo everything because it's all the old stuff sucks. Is that, you think, going forward when they stopped and they did Star Trek season 1, they got Mark Bernard and they got a bunch of other writers. They go, forget what you've heard. Forget what you learned. All that's out the window. We want brand new story ideas. We don't want any of that stuff. So when Terry Matalas comes in there, he's like, you know what? I can't do worse than the other 2 fucking seasons of this show. So let me go back to what worked. And that's why we got a nice season 3, because he just did what people wanted to see after hearing us and other people bitch and moan. Do you think that's what really happened? It just, the ratings dropped. I wonder if they lost subscribers too. I mean, you'll never know, but I'm wondering if it didn't work like they thought it was going to.
No, I hear you, man.
I'm gonna say they had to.
They had to save money.
Yeah.
I mean, to get the stockholders happy and all that. They're like, hey, we spent money on this stuff.
But they found a way.
And they probably had a contract for the 3 years. They
absolutely did.
Or did they see how well Strange New Worlds did and how everybody liked the return to the old-fashioned storytelling, and that might have been a little.
But this wasn't the old-fashioned storytelling.
Well,
no, because it was.
It wasn't. It really wasn't.
It was a 10-episode story, really meticulously told. Well, some issues that we've had, but it did span the 10 issues. The 10. Episodes.
It was much more action oriented.
Strange New Worlds has the things that go from one
to
the
episodic.
other.
It's more episodic. And further, what I would say, and I was talking about this with John Price, texting back and forth. If you want, a lot of people have said this is a 10-hour movie. I almost think it's 3 movies. Because Act 1 was 1 through 4, with them getting away from Vadic and throwing the asteroid at the Shrike. 5 through 8 was the defeat of the Changelings, and then 9 and 10 was the action conclusion.
Borg, yeah.
So it really was like a trilogy.
Yeah, I said this before. Season 1 and 2, I'm not really apt to go back and watch it. This I would watch again.
Yeah.
I would watch all 10 episodes of this again.
Yep. No, I agree. And again, the way to Mitch, what you were saying about the limitations of season 2 and it being COVID and stuff, as Franco and myself have said for many months and weeks recently, good writing will fix any constraints. Most of the time, it is those kind of obstacles that usually lead to creative inspiration. We didn't get that with season 2. Orson Welles used to talk about that all the time of, God, it was actually having a limited budget or not being able to rely on various actors made me think creatively, and I was able to come up with creative solutions. That's what was missing in season 2 of Picard. They played it safe and stupid.
Right.
And a lot of their choices didn't make sense from a story standpoint. And also there is reverence for canon with this group of Metalis writers. We saw it through all the 10 episodes, as opposed to, well, in case you didn't know, I had an ancestor that was an astronaut and made this big thing. In case you didn't know, my mother killed herself. And it's just like all this bullshit that we're like, where the fuck did that come from?
Right.
That's not, and again, and they weren't good ideas. I'm sorry, they weren't.
I remember Brent Spiner being behind the wheel of that car, trying to run over Picard's granddaughter, and it was so like Dallas, or like a soap opera at night. It's like, how long was he sitting out in that car, and how did he know they were going to come through that door to run her over on the sidewalk? And I was like, who wrote this shit? It's like
they spent 3 episodes at that fucking party.
Yeah.
3 episodes. Give me a goddamn break.
But we got Agnes to sing, so that was good.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that.
We're running with the shadows.
Oh, God, don't bring that back. I forgot about it.
To back up Johnny's point, again, limitations. Look at the Star Wars.
Yeah.
The first Star Wars, or Star Wars A New Hope. Again, he was so constrained trying to make something that did not fit his vision, and it turned out great. Everybody loves that thing. The editing had to fall into place. The music had to fall into place. The prequels, the other 3, they threw a lot of money at that stuff.
Well, that's Francis. That's New Trek in general. They spent money like drunken sailors with Discovery and all this ridiculous money. The one thing they didn't spend money on was good writing.
Yeah,
idiots.
And now I'm afraid of what might happen with the writer's strike.
Is that so?
Yeah, well, that's gonna obviously impact whatever is hasn't begun
coming down the line, right?
Like Section 31, frankly, the 31 movie. Peter says, bummer that it's Kurtzman and Goldman still in charge and probably have no clue why this season of Picard was solid. I don't think they're that dense, man.
No.
I really don't.
No.
I would expect, again, I was dreading a 7 and Raffi show, but that said, if it's a 7, Raffi, Picard Jr., Sidney LaForge, and the other 2 bridge people that we got to know,
and all the rest.
Moran, and the rest, exactly.
I hope Murray,
Marianne.
I hope Murray the cook. That guy's name is Murray or something
like
that.
They're going to have him on the show. He's going to be the chef's cook.
He's got to be. He's got to be part of the show. He's the new Neelix. Yeah,
he's the Neelix
captain.
I can't. My allergies are killing me. Enough with the Klingons. Enough. But I thought they were going to show up, by the way. When they were sitting there, they go, oh, we need somebody to come and help us out. I literally thought you'd hear dun, 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 and you see the whole Klingon fleet show up. Nobody came to save the Earth.
It's because the president said, stay away from Earth.
I know, but they're Klingons. They live for this battle shit,
But
except probably with the Borg, they'll go, you know what? We're going to take a pass.
We'll sit back on it. We'll wait when it's all over. And by the way, all those ships that were floating around at the end, they're all destroyed. I go, wow, they got to rebuild that fleet again? Jesus Christ. They blow up that Starfleet every other week around there.
I don't know how much damage the fleet took, given that the Earth space station platform was destroyed. I know the Titan took out a couple ships, but I don't think it was as just devastating as Wolf 359.
I think they just didn't have the crews to do anything with it. when they
I
were
think most of the debris was the starbase.
awoken after
Was
that.
the what?
I think most of the debris was the starbase because that was a big ass starbase.
Oh, okay.
You know what I have to say too? As much as CGI's improved and all the ships look great and everything, and the battle scenes for the most part were decent. I wish we'd go back to the Berman era of models, because compare what we got in season 3 to those great Deep Space Nine fleet battles and stuff. And I think they were much cooler and much more like, oh my God, there's one ship lost in a cell, one ship's completely on fire, whatever.
There was almost too many of them. Honestly, when they showed there was like I'm like, oh my God, it's like the end of the last Star Wars picture when the Empire had
everyone shows
like
up,
thousands of these Star Destroyers, and then the other guy shows. He's like, there's too much shit on the screen. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at anymore. It's like, boom, okay, I'm at that age now. What's going on?
Tevya asks if we like Prodigy. We love Prodigy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love Prodigy. We'll be coming back to Prodigy whenever it comes back. Obviously, it's going to be after Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks.
I'm excited for Strange New Worlds.
I know
saw that trailer. Yeah,
I agree. Again, very excited for not only real-looking Klingons, but also the addition of Carol Kane as the new engineer, taking Hemmer's place.
Wouldn't it be funny if she had Scotty's voice, because that's what we heard in the last, the last episode.
Nice.
And when she starts talking, we hear Scotty's voice, and it confuses everybody.
I want her to talk like Simca from Taxi.
Yeah.
Well, I could get the phases going, but in that great shrill voice of hers, she's fantastic. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I think she's great, and like I said, I'm hoping to God my friend Susan comes through, and I get a conversation with Carol Kane.
That'd be awesome.
Hey, Mitch, I think she's New York. She is New York.
Well, Johnny, I've got everybody and their brother coming to Terrificon on July 28th to the 30th at Mohegan Sun.
Next year, maybe.
I've got everybody. What can I say?
I don't know if she does conventions.
By the way, Wayne, is there an airport called Billy something up in Toronto?
Billy Bishop. That's on the island.
Yeah, I became familiar with that this afternoon because that's what's holding up my big announcement for Terrificon.
Okay, then I probably know the airline.
Stanley goes, are you excited they plan to do a movie every 2 years? I hope they do more.
Yes.
What?
Again, you've got all these Trek vet actors that aren't getting any younger. I would love to see a Kira movie. I would love to see an Ezri Dax movie. Like I said, I want a Captain Tuvok courtroom drama. I want a Beverly Crusher medical drama. I think there's a lot of opportunity for those kinds of things. But that's me. What do I know?
Like Law and Order. Like that's
you've got all these different aspects of the Federation. And I mean, again, look at episodes like from the original series, Court Martial.
Yeah.
And how great that was,
Yeah,
so I do think, or God, Spock, even as goofy as Spock's brain is, it ends with that surgery that McCoy has to do, or even when Sarek gets injured in Journey to Babel, and McCoy's got to do surgery. No, I think there's a possibility there for more.
I hope Strange New Worlds goes like 5 years, and then Pike, Pike becomes that chair-bound guy, and then they do a movie about him in just all beeps.
I hope they do a Rockford Files in space. I'd watch that.
Who would be Starfleet Rockford?
But they killed him off. Would have been Trip. I'd watch Trip.
Yeah, that'd be all right. He's living in a camper in Florida.
Yeah. $200 a day plus expense. $200 quatloons. 200 quatloons a day plus expenses.
This is Trip Tucker. I'm not in right now. Leave a message. I'll get back to you. That's awesome. All right, late to the game, but I like both of these comments. Jason says, I like the idea that Romulan Picard for is still waiting for him to show up. Yeah, Laris. It's like the end of Airplane. All right, I'm giving him 5 more minutes. And then
she drank about half the bottles of wine in the vineyard. Where is that son of a bitch?
He ghosted her. How weird is that? Picard
and Tevya, again, how do we feel about Starfleet Academy? We talked about it last week. We're not crazy about it. I don't really care. I don't like the disco era.
I kind of think Tilly.
He wants to see Tilly. That's all he wants.
Mike wants a Captain Shaw Holo Captain series.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. that he's like an AI now. He's like trapped inside because he was an engineer and he pulled a Scotty and he put himself in there. So every week when they need help, it's like Firestorm. You know, he merges with Professor Stern. He merges with Captain Shaw. And he's like, what are you doing? This is not how I would do it. And it's, let's write that right now. Get on that.
Yes, Trip not only has a great YouTube Star Trek interview show. It's called Shuttlepod 1. And it's with Dominic Keating, Malcolm, Malcolm from Enterprise. And they're very funny, and they have great conversations. I just literally today watched, because, of course, I'm addicted to Star Trek, and I need to watch something every day. Ira Stephen Bear, they just had him on, 2-hour interview, and he was no holds barred, talked about a lot of warts and all moments of the pushback he would get for Deep Space Nine ideas. It was fantastic. Excellent show. Matt, again, it's called Shuttlepod 1, and it's both audio and video, so you can check that out.
Tom Paris would make a good Rockford Files too.
I can see that.
Tom Paris.
I would like to see a Tom Paris. I would love to see Voyager people in a new movie. And in fact, the podcast guys had Dominic Keating and Trip. What's Trip's real name? I'm blanking. I can't remember his name. But regardless, so they Connor Trenier. Very good. Connor Trenier. They asked him, like, would you guys come back? They're like, of course we'd come back. If there was some Enterprise idea. I want a Captain Archer movie or an Admiral Archer or whatever. Yeah. However, again, he's older now. No,
except he doesn't have the dog anymore.
No,
you got Portos 8 or whatever. Well, and again, if you go back to the JJ verse first movie, Scotty said,
yeah.
And I bet it's not. I'm betting it's not still Porthos from Enterprise. No. So I'm betting he just kept buying Beagles. That's what I think.
Hey, wait, does Jolene Blaylock do conventions or not really?
No, Jolene Blaylock is married to a real estate guy who has lots and lots and lots of money.
Oh,
she doesn't do cons.
Okay.
Okay, Tevye goes, I'm surprised we never got a Voyager reunion because we did see Janeway and Prodigy. Metalis asked for Janeway and was told by the big bosses, no, she's in Prodigy. It is what it is.
They got Tuvok. What do you want?
Exactly. And it was great seeing Tuvok. I love Tim Russ.
And he got lines in this one as opposed to Lower Decks where he's just an image.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, even Changeling Tuvok.
Because Tim Russ said last year at the Star Trek Con, he's going, I didn't even know I was in Lower Decks.
It is crap like that. You're right, man. Tuvok, I honestly... Best Vulcans in Star Trek, I think Tuvok is right under Nimoy. I really think he just got it down in terms of how to play poker face Vulcans. Robin Curtis is in that Center Seat documentary, and she was talking about being Saavik. And she's like, I got the greatest lessons in the world. Nimoy's directing, 3 and 4. Yeah, of course, he knows what he's talking about when it comes to Vulcans and stuff. Yeah, absolutely, man.
He's no Cybok.
No.
Lawrence Luckenbill.
Again, I will defend. I will always defend Lawrence Luckenbill. That was a thankless job, as someone else pointed out on the Trexperts podcast today regarding Ed Speleers. What a thankless job to have to play that role. And given what they gave him to work with, I think he did great. I really think because you could easily just be annoyed in that mutt whatever LaBouf's name was in Crystal Skull. Yeah. Like I don't know. And again, Mitch, you're the indie.
I know. What are you picking him up for?
I don't like him. I don't like the character. I didn't like the implication that maybe he's going to take over the franchise. It's like
no,
never going to happen. Away. He was annoying as he always is, in my mind. What did you think of Mutt? Mitchell?
Me, I he was totally miscast, but what are you going to do? At the time, he was Spielberg's new golden boy because he just had him in Transformers. He had him in Indiana Jones. They were grooming that kid.
Yes.
But then he mouthed off and he took.
He went a
little crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Mike, back.
I will amend my list because Mike is right when it comes to top Vulcan actors.
Yeah,
Mark Leonard. They're incomparable, much like Nimoy. And watching the two of them together and the great scenes with Shatner in 3. No, he's the man. Leonard's the man. And that's why poor James, I forget the guy's name. I'm sure he's on the Trek Vegas show. The guy who played him on Discovery. James is his first name. I know that. But do you ever see him at Wayne?
Yeah. It's Gregory. It's Ethan.
Yeah,
Peck.
Gregory Peck's kid. Yeah.
No, not Ethan Peck. No, I'm talking about Sarek. James.
Oh, Sarek. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, James Frain. He's like a character actor.
James Frain. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. His
I've seen him. He does shows every so often.
I'm sure. No, that's cool.
Gary Grimes was okay as a Vulcan on Enterprise. Wasn't that his name?
Gary Graham.
Gary Graham. Yeah, Gary Graham was a.
Right.
Yeah, he's part of the Sons of Kirk band.
I put Saval in the top.
You know which movie was okay, but the series I loved, and Alien Nation. You remember?
Yes,
Alien Nation.
He was, yeah.
And he wasn't the alien.
No, Mandy Patinkin was the alien,
Yep.
and he was the human guy. He was the James Caan character.
Yeah, he's the James Caan.
That was a good show. They had a couple TV movies after that where they wrapped it up a bit, but
I never saw those. I gotta
they're on Tubi. I'm pretty sure they're on Tubi, Francis.
They did like 3 of them, I think. One of them was really good, but
that was
one of them have his daughter, like the alien's daughter.
Yeah,
that was Kenneth Johnson, the Incredible Hulk producer.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
and creator of the Bionic Woman.
And creator of V. Remember V?
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised. They brought that. I was going to say they should bring that back, but they did.
I believe Johnson is in the works of doing better than the Marina Picard.
Yeah, because they used Laura Vandervoort as an alien.
Blonde. Yes, she was the alien,
daughter.
The daughter, right?
Yeah.
Big fan.
Very big fan.
Very big fan. Absolutely.
But she was Supergirl.
Go ahead. Yes.
Unknown fact about Laura: she likes skeleton keys. So people at conventions will give her skeleton keys because she likes to collect skeleton keys.
Hilarious. Oh, that's good to know. How you doing? I got a skeleton key for you.
Yeah, I hung out with her.
No, I was gonna say regarding Kenneth Johnson, the Inglorious Trexpert guys have another podcast that you can only get if you do their Patreon, and it's called Deck 78. And last week on Inglorious Trexperts, they ran one of the Deck 78 episodes, and those are non-Trek subjects. They had a fantastic 90-minute interview with Kenneth Johnson. Talked V, talked Hulk, talked $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman. He made a new Sherlock Holmes novel that he talked about that I just bought. Really, really interesting. And it's that one's free and on the Inglorious Trexperts feed. And that's when he was discussing that they're talking about rebooting V.
Not to be rude, but how old is that guy by now? 90?
He's probably, I would imagine he's in his 70s or whatever. I'm sure he is. I don't know. Let's look it up. We can look it up over.
Well, I'm just saying, $6 Million Man was 1975, and that was 50 years ago almost. So,
Peter says, speaking of indie, John, you have to get Gabe Harbin back on the podcast. He's been doing James Mangold's storyboards, so he's got a new Star Wars movie coming out that he'll. Yes, you're right about all that. However, that said,
we had dinner at C2E2, and we sat right next to each other. You were across from him, and I said, "Hey, Gabe, it's great to see you. Listen, I know you're not going to talk about it, but let's talk about Indy 5. Tell me everything you know." And he looked at me. He goes, "No."
Yeah, I love Gabe. He's really a very, very good friend.
Yeah.
And I totally understand because he has been like immersed with Indiana Jones and literally like a fireman 24/7 because they were shooting in England. He's on the West Coast. So you can only imagine getting calls at like 4 a.m. Hey, Gabe, listen, we just had an idea. We need you to draw it or whatever. And he had to respond. And that was like at least 2 years of his life. And it's like, okay, I just got out of the pressure zone.
Yeah.
I really don't want to talk about Indiana Jones right now. That's how it was with when Dark Knight Rises came out. And I'm like, hey, let's talk. He's like, no, sorry. Yeah. And I'm like, dude,
it was great. Awesome. It was great seeing him and having dinner with him. It was awesome.
Again, he's always got great stories. Yeah. He is, thank God, James Mangold loves him. And I would imagine they're going to be working together very much in the years to come. And in fact, Gabe even told me about a couple other projects, not the ones mentioned here, that he is working on with James. The writer's strike is going to fuck everything up, obviously, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I have a friend who works in animation and does storyboards. And once like a certain production company really likes you, they feed you work all the time. And he's always busy.
Yeah. And yeah, Gabe's been working with Mangold since
Wolverine,
Logan. But I know he did Ford versus Ferrari a couple of years ago. And no, I literally, I mean, again, Gabe and I talk almost weekly, and it's he's doing great, and I'm so happy for him because
I don't think there was any storyboards on Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash story.
That
was James Mangold.
I have no comment. Tevye again says, do we believe with this show and Star Trek Strange New Worlds going back to optimistic Star Trek, are we done with dark and gritty Star Trek 24/7?
I hope so.
Yeah, man, I do too. I hope they're, my buddy Scott Larson, who's a little more forgiving with New Trek than we are, is like, well, they seem to be listening to the audience, and even in the case of Discovery, they keep tweaking it every year, and I suppose they are to a degree, but not to my level of satisfaction. But
all I want in Discovery is more grunge.
Really?
That cat, if it can get its own comic book, it needs its own series.
Oh, the cat. No.
The cat is played by two male cats, a happy cat and an unhappy cat.
When IDW did the one shot of the cat, I'm like, and it really disappointed me. By the way, I have to confirm, but I believe I'll be talking to Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly next Monday on Word Balloon Live. And of course, we're going to talk about what they thought of Picard and some of the new announcements and stuff. But also, again, these guys are killing it on the Star Trek titled IDW series that is a Cisco book. Mm-hmm. And again, Cisco's crew on this book, it's Scotty, post Relics, still around, Beverly Crusher, Data, and I'm trying to think if there's some.
Is it Worf?
Tom Paris.
Yeah.
And I think B'Elanna might even be there too, obviously. But it's closer to the post Nemesis era and post, like, not too many years after DS9 rather than the current era and stuff. And then also there's a spin-off series that my buddy Chris Cantwell is doing, which is called Star Trek Defiant, and it's spun out of this IDW series, and that's Worf. That's Worf's ship. So and Worf shows up in the Star Trek book before. And again, they're doing Day of Blood, a big summertime event where they're going to cross over. There's a Strange New Worlds comic book up and running that Mike Johnson is writing. Mike is an excellent Star Trek writer. He wrote a lot of Kelvin Universe comics, and I enjoyed those much more than the 3 movies. And because Mike kind of gets it, he came from, I know he's written other comics as well, but he was working in JJ's Bad Robot office when they started doing the Kelvin Universe comics and stuff. And Mike's a really good Star Trek writer too. So that's the thing, man. If this only whet your appetite and you immediately want more content, those things. John Jackson, who I just had on the show a couple months ago, has his Christopher Pike Strange New Worlds novel.
I'm still reading. I'm still listening to that thing. It's long.
Cool.
It's like 18 hours. It's like it's a lot of time.
Yeah, I'd rather and especially when it's single narrator. I would rather read it than hear it. I haven't gotten into it yet, but the Sherlock Holmes thing that Kenneth Johnson just wrote, he has an audio and it's dramatized. So I'm really looking forward to listening to that. Let's see. Peter says Beverly Crusher was his favorite of the crew this time around, more than just a doctor. Loved her with the weapons this week. Liked what they did with her, more than just a love interest. Absolutely, man. No, I think they gave the stuff she's wanted to do during those 6 years. She wasn't there for the second year.
But everybody, you look at like Counselor Troy, who probably had the least amount of screen time in all of this, and she was even rounded out to the point where you're like feeling for her, and she has
everybody had a moment.
Yep.
Everybody had a very crucial moment. By the way, and no disrespect to LeVar Burton's actual daughter, but the woman who played Sidney LaForge was fantastic. The other daughter, I'm glad they gave her the opportunity, but kind of a glorified extra. Let's be honest.
Well.
That's again my observation.
Does she do other shows? Was this her first show?
I don't know about acting, but I know that for Star Trek Day, the last couple of years when they would do the streaming events, she was one of the interviewers with Will Wheaton and people like that. So, Tevye says he's also happy that this season saved Data. I agree, and again. I think I understand. And again, Brent Spiner is getting younger. Thankfully, they've now age appropriately, aged up Data. So if he wanted to keep doing it, But I think there are great story opportunities to, explore Data and great buddy movie, Data and Geordi. And as Data's, figuring out how to be human and everything.
Oh, I think Geordi would get fed up after a while. Because
Shut
Troy
up,
was going,
Data.
oh my God, shut up.
Very funny. You're killing me, man. Yeah, Wesley, I agree with you, man. That turnaround that turnaround look everyone gave Beverly was amazing. I don't know what kind of look you're talking
When
about.
she shot,
Well, she was on the weapons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. Yes, of course. Thank you, man. Indeed. Okay. Mike says that LeVar Burton's daughter Mika is a big presence in role-playing games, live play community on YouTube. Well, good for her.
Did not know that.
I didn't either. Not being a gamer, I didn't know.
Okay.
So, any other thoughts, boys? We can wrap up if you want.
No.
What did you think of the trailer for Strange New Worlds, John?
Yeah, I'm optimistic. I mean, again, we already saw production stills of Paul Wesley Kirk talking to La'an, so we knew that he was coming back regardless. In fact, those were, I think, among the first images we saw of Wesley as Kirk. But yeah, I mean, I mean, again, Strange New Worlds was certainly. I mean, I know everyone else loved it even more than I did. I thought it was a solid B because I had a couple problems with things here and there. I'm not crazy about the storybook episode. I'm not crazy about Mabenga and his daughter in the transporter. I thought that was ridiculous, and I didn't like the last thing. Well, hold on. By all means, you can disagree, but
it was a nice idea.
Well, but again, I didn't like the final episode being a poor man's Balance of Terror. That I think they kind of missed half the point in representing it. But all that said, I like the trailer. There's room to grow. A lot of shows that I was down on, like Lower Decks, certainly improved themselves in the subsequent years. I was just telling somebody else that honestly, for my money right now, as far as all new Trek, including animation, I think Prodigy is slightly better than Strange New Worlds because it's original, it's new.
Yeah.
It's not relying on.
Yeah, I have to agree that I think the writing's a little stronger on Prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, So
I just hate that rock guy's voice. Other than that, it's okay.
Tevye wants to know: do we think that's the end of the Borg? I certainly hope so.
Yeah,
I really.
No, they'll be back next season in Picard.
Well, or if you want years from now to come back to it, but it's like, come on, enough, enough.
Leave it alone
Enough
for
of
a while.
Khan, enough of the Borg.
Mm-hmm.
Find new things. There are plenty of other new things.
We got the Zindi to go back to.
Oh God, I remember that.
What happened to the city, guys? What is the current status, either in the Picard era or just even Discovery 1,000 years later? What's happening with the Romulans? What's happening with the Klingons? What's happening with the Ferengi? All these other, fine, Suliban, Cardassians. I mean, we saw the new president of the Federation is a mix of Cardassian, human, and Bajoran. Great, but I mean, we just got a smidgen of the Trill, and of course, Michael Burnham had to save the day because she knows so much about the Trill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, man. So I will see. I don't know. Yeah, I agree, Tevye. He says we've done the Borg too many times. We need a break. 100%, man. Again, I like what they did in season 3 with the Borg. If seasons 1 and 2 didn't exist, I would have liked it even more. But yeah, what are you gonna do? Here you go. And I agree with you, Jason. Another great show. Give me a Star Trek West Wing discussing the politics of the universe. 100%. There was that
just like in Andor, I wanted more of what the inner machinations of running the Empire.
Completely agree, man. Completely agree. And there are a lot of unanswered questions about what's happening with these races that we know in the Picard era, in the post-Picard era. It's like, okay, like I said, what is happening with all these other? What are the Andorians making this shit? Are you bored, Mitch? You want me to stop?
No. I just got some news. Anyway, I'm running a convention here, Johnny.
I know, buddy. I'm sorry.
Right in the middle of all this. I'm talking to people in Los Angeles right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Because it's only 8:30 out there.
Of course.
Well, 7:30. I'm sorry.
Oops, sorry about that. I don't know why I.
Wow.
Guilty.
Yeah. Why is it doing that? I don't know. Hang on a minute. I see why. Sorry.
I'm scared. No, somebody wants a first class airline flight, and I'm like, I don't know. Hey, kids, if you want to donate to Terrificon, send me money right now.
To a GoFundMe.
Yeah, I should. If you want to see such and such actor, guess what? It's a $2,000 bill to fly his ass in here. So,
Tevia's confused. Wasn't Star Trek Lower Decks a parody of Star Trek? Because I'm confused. Yeah, but it's still
It's
going.
within the continuity.
no, it's
Right,
no,
it's in canon. It's still in
it's
canon.
no Orville. It's no Orville, that's for sure.
No. I love the Orville.
I do
Checkoff
too.
would be Martin Sheen president stepping down, and who's going to be elected to president of the Federation. That's a great idea.
Yeah, did a
I
great
hope
job there, Chekhov.
No disrespect to Mr. Koenig. You better film that now, because that guy's not getting any younger. Him and Shatner.
They'll hire another guy.
No, he's
Shatner,
78, I think he is.
Walter.
Yeah, he's
No, 80,
supposed to be-
85. He's the youngest
Yeah,
out of
I thought
He's
everybody.
the youngest of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's in his 80s. I'm gonna look it up right now.
And who's in the best shape is Takei.
Shatner.
No,
Shatner.
No, George.
no, George is in better shape than.
Yeah, well, they didn't take Sulu up into space, did they?
I understand. Walter Koenig is 86, boys.
There you go.
You better fucking don't buy any green bananas. Check
No,
out.
they'll hire a new guy. So
He's no Al Jaffe. Oh, sorry, he died.
God bless Al Jaffe.
102. It's weird. His coffin actually folded into a big middle finger. Who saw that coming?
Well played. Well played. Did you ever meet him, Mitch?
No.
I have. I met him at the Society of Illustrators.
I think Moses met him. He was 102 for fuck's sake.
Sean Howe had a book about Timely,
Yeah.
and more about their pulp novels rather than their comics. And Al was one of those living artists that, yeah, I worked there then. I got
Yeah,
stories.
I was there. I put the ink in the jars for everybody. You know?
Oh, that's hilarious. Mike says, my Terrificon mentions equal one shot of whiskey, and the game is going very well.
Thank
Keep
you.
going.
All right.
That's great.
Cal, I got a t-shirt. Wayne's not wearing his Terrificon shirt tonight.
Oh, it's in the laundry.
I'll get you another one. We got two. I got a warehouse full of them, literally.
Well,
But
there
I
you go,
have been
boys.
wearing it at most of the shows.
There
Promoting.
you go. There
I
you
think
go.
we covered everything we wanted to cover.
AB.
Yes.
All right, let's wrap up. Did I show this? No. Very quickly, and I love this, and I want you guys to see.
Your
But I
penis.
think no, shut up. They too easy. No, sadly, although thank God nobody was hurt. The SpaceX rocket
Yeah, it blew up.
explosion.
blew up real good.
But they said
thankfully-
they knew that was going to happen. It's okay. As long as it
Well,
took
what
off.
I mean, that's fine. It was a test, and thank God it was an unmanned test. But I
Yeah.
noticed this, and I want to see if you guys can see on the video why I was shocked by this.
Yeah, Miles O'Brien. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
He's
So
been
now
there
we
for
know why he
years.
wasn't in Picard.
Ah, he went
Okay.
back in time.
Now, did you hear? If I remember, it was on Sports Talk Radio when I was driving around today. They used lawyer speak to describe what happened. It was an unexpected disassembly of the rocket.
Yeah, blew up.
Yeah,
Real
whatever.
good.
I know. I heard that too, and I heard the
It
other.
was- and the guys on the Sports Talk, and they're just laughing it up.
Did you
Thank
see
God.
It starts spinning around,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
like, well, it's spinning around. It's supposed to do, and I'm like, no, it's
No, they
supposed
didn't
to
say.
go up.
Mitch, they
Come
did
on.
not say it was supposed to do that. They did not say. They're
It was like a
Phenomenal,
pinwheel.
phenomenal.
and in fact, they did say they're like, well, that's unexpected, and then
Yeah.
boom. So no, it's. I mean, honestly, if you didn't see it live, it is worth watching on YouTube. And again, having lived through the Challenger and other space disasters, thank God it was unmanned. Because when I saw that it explode, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God, I hope nobody was.
When I
hurt.
first heard about it, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, yeah."
Yeah.
I was thinking it
So-
went over the Gulf of Mexico because I'm like, imagine if you live below that shit and you're like, oh God, here comes stuff coming down, smashing cars and houses.
Like Skylab.
Skylab, yeah,
Right,
exactly.
Skylab, absolutely. All right, final thought, everybody, and Tevye gives us a good question to end on. What is the rating for this season now that the series? I'm going to say this season because we know the other two sucked. But now that the series is over, how would you rate season 3?
Out of
Out
what
of,
are
out
we
of
doing?
10?
Out of
What's the
10?
scale?
If you want to do it that way, that's fine. If you want to do
Yeah.
5 stars, whatever.
If we're going out of 10, I'd give it a solid 8, maybe 9.
There you go.
Yeah, I agree with
yeah.
Franco. I was going to
Yeah.
go 8.
I was going to say 8 too, yeah.
No, 8 is fair.
Yeah, it was it.
Good.
I don't know. It felt good. It was
It was like a movie, I thought.
Yep.
Yeah.
Best live action and I put that qualifier on it, live action new Trek show, I do think it's better than Strange New Worlds.
This season, yes.
Yeah.
So
it's a snappy dialogue. It reminded me like of a Tarantino movie at times.
9 out of 10.
Weeze says 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm close to a 9.2 Weeze. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and again, my little nitpicks keep me from saying a 9 or a 10. But again, they're small nitpicks. And on balance, no, I think Terry Matalas deserves the victory lap, and all the other writers. Tevye says 7 out of 10. That's fair. I thought it was great. Well, we'll see. We'll see when they.
Did you guys think Patrick Stewart was in here with me when I first came on?
I did. I heard him doing his Shakespeare stuff. I think they let everybody have their moment when he did his little line from Shakespeare. That was from Julius Caesar. That bit he does at the bar at the end. I'm like,
it's a Brutus speech. That's right.
What's he doing?
Right before he beats up Popeye.
Before we turn the lights off, may I do one of my Broadway? Go ahead, Patrick. You got the floor. Go ahead. Do whatever you.
I am executive producer.
And they're all like this on their phones.
I saw that.
I'm looking for a vacation.
No. And I liked when he walked across the bridge and he's like, we're going to get the Borg. And he did that, no, father, we'll draw the line here. And he did it, but it's a little older, so it didn't sound as forceful. He's just like, we've got to stop them now. I'm like, oh, okay. Don't get all worked up. Sit down. The blood pressure. Got to watch out the blood pressure, buddy.
Do we want to take a week off? Do we want to come back? We were talking last week potentially about talking about older Trek episodes. We can catch up on.
Why don't the people right now say pick an episode and we'll review it?
Okay, we might have to wait another 5 minutes or so.
They can leave comments afterwards.
Season one of the original show with Kirk and Spock and McCoy. Pick one of those. The first one that gets the same things twice.
I would pick. I know. I'm going to say it anyway. I don't care. I would pick. I like Tomorrow's Yesterday with Captain Christopher.
So let's start with that one.
The fighter pilot that.
The back in time thing. Yeah, that's season 1. Wow,
it is season 1.
See, I would have gone with the one where they meet the Romulans for the first time. With
Balance. If you want to start with Balance of Terror,
that's a great one.
No problem with that.
Oh, you know what? We should start with the worst one and go off about how we hate it. Charlie X. I hate Charlie X.
Oh, that's funny. And this is season 3, but
that's season 3.
It says Spock's brain, of course.
Or the turnabout maneuver. I am. What's her? Janice. Whatever.
Janice Lester. Turnabout intruder.
I am Janice Lester.
Hey, Shatner acts his ass off.
He
being
does.
That vindictive woman. He's hilarious. And "'Tis mutiny! It's mutiny!" Oh my God, he's awesome.
Yeah, he flips out. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What's the one where they all become old?
Even, I'm sorry?
What's the one where they all grow old and he's falling
Deadly
asleep?
Years. Season 2.
Yeah, that's one I don't see a lot.
Season 2. Because Chekhov doesn't show up till season 2, and he's in that.
Okay.
He's the only guy that doesn't age. Give me a speed sample, Chekhov. Blood sample, Chekhov. I'm going to run out of samples if this keeps up. Classic. And I agree with Mike. If we're going to start with the original series, season 1, nothing wrong with doing the first Kirk pilot.
Gary Mitchell.
Gary Mitchell.
And Sally Kellerman.
That's right.
Dr. Daner.
All right. You guys let me know.
All right.
Well, Piper.
Yeah, that's fine. Do that one. Yeah. Then we all agree.
All right. Yeah, let's do Where No Man Has Gone Before. All right.
For James R. Kirk's gravestone. Like, what?
We're doing it now. We got to stop. We'll have nothing left to talk about next week. All right, everybody. Thanks a lot for watching. At least they stuck the landing. Let's just put it that way. And we'll talk next week. We'll do Where No Man Has Gone Before. Why not? Until then,
I'll have my Terrificon shirt.
Yeah.
Live long and prosper, everybody.